Hey everybody,
Hey there, how are you guys doing?
how's it going? Welcome to Alive and Well. This is going to be probably one of our better episodes. What do you think?
I think so. I think it's going to be a lot more entertaining than last week. Last week we were still figuring out the bugs and whatnot.
The feel of what we wanted to do. So, the positive thing is, we got some things worked out, we got some ideas coming up, and some things we already started planning ahead of time, so that's good. Now, last week we felt kind of unprepared going into this, so we didn't know what to expect
Not
or how to do anything. So, today we have a fun episode. Today's episode is called...
Is college worth it?
And we're going to go into depth about that, and we have a guest today, who's my own brother, home from college, by the way, so that's why we brought him in. Give us some insight. We have some stuff. We're going to cover some news from the week and stuff, and we have a new segment called Bad Poetry, which will be right after our main topic today.
You will not be disappointed.
No, you will not. It's going to be some fun stuff. We'll get into that later.
Yes.
Because I don't want to spoil it and how it's going to work. Okay, so with that being said, let us jump right into our news. All right, so new stuff for today. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, I forgot to say something. Everybody, tweet us out if you're watching live. Tweet us out right here. Hashtag WNJ live. And I got your tweets pulled up on my iPad right here, so we'll be able to see whatever you tell us, and we can interact with you.
Yeah, you can comment, tell us how we're doing so far. You can ask questions, or you can tell us how our hair looks. That's pretty much it.
And that's the gist of it.
You can do whatever you want. It's Twitter.
It is Twitter. So anyway, I'll be refreshing that constantly to make sure you're entertained and you're listening to us. Okay, so sorry, news. Okay, stuff that happened recently, over the past week. Last Sunday, right after, it would have been a little bit after our show ended, unfortunately, so we couldn't, it's a bit old news, but it's something.
Close enough.
So, what happened was, there was a second presidential debate. Did you watch it?
I watched part of it. It was with some commentary.
Yeah, I watched a little bit, too.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, I feel like it was, they weren't really saying much at all, which I don't think that's new to presidential debates. But
well, in the setup for this one, it was called like a town hall debate.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of weird interaction and stuff. It's pretty interesting, but we won't get into that too much. But the real thing at the real one, the most exciting thing about the second presidential debate was the living meme himself. And that right there, that guy right there, that is Kenneth Bone.
Kenneth the Bone.
Ken Bone is the man. And Ken Bone is probably the most interesting thing to ever happen at a presidential debate ever.
Honestly. But, and a lot of people think, oh, it's like a middle-aged man, and let's make him famous just for being a living and existing human being and looking kind of funny.
He represents all of us.
Really, though. But the awesome thing is I don't know if anybody else watched it, but I saw, Jimmy Kimmel did an interview with him, and he's actually, really funny and a really cool guy.
I'd like to meet him. Maybe,
oh, yeah.
Maybe I doubt we can get him in for anything, but, yeah, because, we got our tiny channel here.
Yeah, we're not big enough. I don't think we'll ever really reach Ken Bone status.
I don't think anybody will ever reach Ken Bone status.
Ken Bone is above everyone.
He's literally a living meme right now.
He is.
Which is amazing. More we can say, that's a lot more than we can say about, Harambe. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Bless his soul.
Oh,
he had to die in order to become popular. Like the Notorious B.I.G.
I think he was big before that. Get it? B.I.G.
Oh, well, yeah, he was pretty big. But, okay. In other news, oops, wrong camera.
Yeah,
you didn't see that.
You didn't see nothing.
You didn't see that. Bob Dylan, Jungle, move your head.
Oh.
Bob Dylan won.
Bob Dylan, no.
He won. What was it called? It's a Nobel Prize for Literature.
Woohoo.
Now, I mean, yes, Woohoo. I don't know much about him or his
I can
music.
get back here. I'm not Bob Dylan anymore.
Have you heard much about his music or anything? I never really listened.
Honestly, I guess it's an American thing to know who Bob Dylan is. I don't really know him that much, and like we just said,
I don't know if we're terrible people for that, or if
I don't
it's
know.
just...
I've seen people do impressions. It's like, hey, how you doing?
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
And
like,
I listened to one of his songs just the other day because I heard about this, and I was like, that's a very weird noise that is being emitted from his mouth. We got our first tweet, by the way.
Yeah, that's it's from my wife, so that's nice.
That's progress.
She said, would you dress up as Ken Bone for Halloween?
The answer?
If I can find this sweater, I am gonna be Ken Bone to the max.
I know my brother was planning to dress as Ken Bone, so we may have a large number of Ken Bones in the Halloween thing out there, and a lot of Harley Quinns for women. So
Ken Bone,
it's gonna be a lot
Harley
of
Quinn, and for those crazy people, clowns. If you're dumb enough
Oh
to do
yeah,
that.
the crazy clowns. Gosh, thankfully that's calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, we haven't really heard much about any more clowns. I mean, they're kind of still in the meme sphere.
In the meme sphere, yeah.
Definitely.
I saw a really funny video. It was these guys were pulling into, I guess, their driveway, and like they were like, "What the heck is that?" And they look, and like it's a normal person just standing there, and like they pan over to the driver, and it's a guy in a scary clown mask.
Oh gosh.
And the guy's like, "Do you see this?" So it was like reversed.
Oh man.
It got me so
That was
hard.
funny. Oh gosh. Okay. With that being said, we'll move. That's pretty much all for the news. Like, I didn't hear a whole lot happen this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ken Bone was pretty much the news.
Ken Bone was the entirety of the news. So that was really exciting. So we'll move into our main topic then, and that is, is college worth it? And we'll introduce my my brother here. How you doing, Seth?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
This is Seth.
Awesome. He goes to Clark Summit University, and it's right outside Scranton, PA. It's about 3 hours from where we are.
Yep. And I'll scoot over. I'm sorry, I'm not really visible. So yeah, is college worth it? This is a interesting question that I've dealt with a lot. I'm sure you both have dealt with. Is the fact that like college has kind of seemed like the thing, like, you know, after high school you just do college, like that's just the normal thing now. And I mean, it wasn't like that years ago.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays college is like you're expected. If you don't go to college, then you're kind of someone who isn't exactly like, if you don't get into college, you're not smart enough to get into college, is what it's.
And I
it's
think
seen
a
as.
lot of that too is like, a lot of people tend to think like, oh, he's a bum, he never went to college, he never did this, did anything with his life.
Exactly.
But I mean, like, it's just, I think it tends to just be a gigantic like stereotype in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've known a good number of people. I mean, and a lot of people even got like famous without going to college, or even happened to be geniuses who invented something crazy.
Yeah.
And they, it's just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So like in your experience so far with college, I know it's only been like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you, like, what are the people like? Is there a good mix of people who deserve to be in college and people who probably shouldn't be, or like, is everyone?
I don't know if I'd put it that way. I don't know. Well, there's definitely the crowd that is there to play a sport. They're
Yeah.
not there necessarily to pursue any other life goal other than that.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that a lot when I was on campus my first year.
so there's definitely that, but also, I mean, at least at my college, there seems to be there's a large group of people who are actually devoted to their schooling and major, and you see a lot of people that switch majors throughout the thing,
Mhm.
but a lot of the people that do that, I see with whenever they switch it, there's still connections to what they originally started going there for.
Yeah.
So whenever someone switches majors, is it more like they didn't really know what they wanted to do, so they just kind of picked something, or is it because they really felt like this is what I'm going to do, and then after experiencing it, like maybe not?
I think it's probably a little bit of each. I mean, I think that a lot of people are told when they're going in as freshmen that a lot of people do switch their majors,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that almost maybe it's easier to find out about what other opportunities and majors come along with. Like, for me, I can look at other majors that I can pursue the same end goal, but I'll have a little bit of different classes, and it will also classify me for a little bit of other stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I think that you really get to see and hear how those different majors that might not be the most well known until you actually go there and you start learning more about them. I think that learning about them actually is what brings them about the switch, maybe, or maybe they learn that maybe that isn't what they actually want to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
you know?
because like a lot, I've realized whenever you get into something, you realize it's not exactly what it seems a lot of the time. So, like you start out and you're like, man, this is what I want to do. Like if someone wanted to be a doctor and they get in there and they realize, I don't exactly like cutting people open or doing stuff like that.
I don't like swimming through the blood of
people.
Yes, just like
Grey's Anatomy makes me cringe.
I would never be able to just like. No.
Ugh.
No, like.
That's for all you out there.
Oh gosh, that's awful. Yeah.
Cannot do that. Oh.
So, one thing that I found in my research and everything for this week is that a lot of people after they graduate, I don't know if you have made friends with any seniors or anything like that. They have a lot of trouble actually finding jobs. In my stuff here, it says only about 14% of students actually have jobs lined up after high school, or after college. So like either they're about to graduate or they just graduated. Only about 14% of students have something they're going into. Everyone else is kind of like.
And we got another tweet in here from Mama Keith. What is your major, and do you think it'll change? I'll address that for myself first, and then we'll let you.
Okay.
My major is business management, and do I think it'll change? Honestly, where I'm currently standing right now, I don't know quite what I want to do, so I'm going to kind of stick with it and kind of see where it goes. I don't even know if I want to even keep going along with college. I'm just kind of in the air right now. As for you, your major.
Yeah, okay, so I'm majoring in youth pastoral ministries right now. And the only scenario in which I would change is there are some other majors that I would still be able to pursue youth pastor ministries. But they would be more focused on, I think there's more of like a sports youth type of ministry type of thing. But
yeah.
I'm not, as of now, I'm not planning on switching majors. But
that's good.
Yeah, so far you're
So
like a
far,
month and
so
a half
good.
in, and you're not doubting it yet. So
I've known a fair number of people who have, switched majors, just even like after the first semester of going to college. I think a lot of people it's just uncertainty.
I do have one thing. You were talking about how. Well, I don't remember the percentage, but there's a certain percentage of people who actually have jobs.
14% who can
14.
have something lined up.
So I think that what it comes down to is, how I see college is connections. I see a diploma and all that as connections as well. Like, I'm talking high school.
Yeah, in a sense.
It's connections. And I think that the 14% that have the jobs are those who are, their last year of college. Well, and even more, they're looking for ways to interact with the community around them to maybe intern in that or trying out those jobs, you know? Instead of just purely going to school and then after they get out, they're like looking for stuff.
Yeah, because I have some stats here. Only like 27% of the people that graduate actually get a job requiring their degree afterwards. So do you think that might factor into like the connections?
What was that percentage again?
27%. So that's a little over a quarter of
actually get jobs like right away, or
their degree is required in that job. So like they get that degree like you said.
So it almost seems like pointless in a sense to
if
go for that degree.
Yeah, unless you know for a fact that you can go in and get that job, only 1 in 4 people will be able to. Do you see that at your school, or is it more? Because I know a lot of the seniors actually go in at Clark Summit and they do internships their senior year of college. So do you see like more people struggling with trying to find that internship, or?
I haven't really I guess I haven't seen too many of the seniors leave that school and really try to pursue that yet.
I guess you've only been there, what, one semester so
Yeah,
far?
so,
Yeah.
well, and the seniors I would know would be the ones this semester. So maybe next semester I'll have more
Yeah.
insight on that,
Mhm.
because there's a few number of guys that are actually leaving my dorm after this semester to actually go do some other things. So
That's cool.
Did you have another point you want to add? Because I have something I'd also like to...
You go ahead. I'm just looking at my
The
stats.
I guess there's another aspect of, is college worth it entirely? That is just the social kind of the aspect of it, where you're kind of thinking like, do we only need college because society told us that we need college?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about this a lot. Not that thinking about it is even going to help change it or anything, because it's gotten to the point where almost I don't think you can go back. But I mean, a lot of jobs I think before, and I don't know if as many jobs do this now as they used to. I'm guessing not. But there used to be a lot of on-the-job training type of things, things that would like, they would basically train you to be what they want you to be, which is a lot easier. So like you say, oh, this job has sounded interesting, or oh, I know somebody who did this. I want to go train and see if it's what's right for me. I mean, it may take a good chunk of your life to train that. I mean, and that could be the downfall to that. But at the same time, you weren't required to go and get that schooling education, so I think people tended to be a little better off financially. I mean, it's a lot of speculation in the fact, but it is an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, and one kind of thing to go along with that is a lot of people think, you're going to go to college and that's going to train you exactly for what you need and the exact job you get. But
yeah, I don't think that's true all the
yeah,
time.
no, 59% of college students surveyed feel like they're well prepared and they can go right into their job and they'll know everything they need to know and be ready. But a poll of employers, only 23% of them feel that people they've hired straight out of college were actually fully knowledgeable and ready for their field.
And a lot of the thing, like with that idea too, is that, I mean, you can chime in whenever you want to. The idea that like, yeah, so like they're coming out of college and it's like they still don't have quite what they need to be up to par with the job that they're going for. And I think a lot of the thing with that too is like, so has college now become high school?
Yeah.
Has it gotten to the point where it's something you have to get a good job, but at the same point, it's not something that will actually train you how to do a job?
Yeah, and I think a big part of that, like the huge part, is on average, students averagely spend about $35,000. What is it, a year? I think.
35,000.
Or they owe
a
about
year.
35,000 in student loans
Okay.
after they graduate.
Yeah,
so,
and that's not too surprising.
Yeah, so is it worth it?
I mean,
If you don't know if you're going to be qualified, because like I said, like only 14% have the job lined up,
yeah.
and only 27% get a job in that field.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to take the risk to be one of those people, and are you going to be able to make up that deficit? Because not saying that starting out with either going to college or not going to college, like I'm working full time right now.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, technically speaking, you're going in the negatives because you're gonna have student loan debt and stuff like that, and I'm going in the positives. But in the future, you're gonna be more prepared, so to speak, because I mean, you obviously, I'm pretty sure you're gonna use your education wisely and everything.
And that's a lot of the thing too, is you tend to hear is like, oh, people go to college and yeah, it costs a lot, but then they end up paying off really well. I mean, which may or may not be true, but you're kind of rolling the dice because you don't know if you're going to actually get a good job, like you said, with the statistics and junk.
And something shocking with that is, I mean, it's not bad, but only 75%, which is still 3/4 of people, they make more than $25,000 a year. So that's still a quarter of college graduates making less than $25 a year, or 25, yeah, making less than $25 a year.
Oh.
That's
awful.
I mean,
Thankfully,
it's all
that's
about
not
those small loans.
the small.
It's the small loans that get you started.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so that brings up another point, because obviously the numbers that I've seen otherwise. So that's although only about a quarter are getting jobs in that field, still three-quarters of them are making more money than what you would be expected to make straight out of high school. So, do you think going to college, even if you don't get a job in your degree, do you think that still puts you at an advantage for like after you graduate? Say like you want nothing to do. Do you think the college experience would at all further your I don't know, applicability in just
Yeah.
the general workforce?
I think it could. I think that on an application, if someone was looking between someone that went to college and someone that didn't, well, they would be able to look at the grades of the person who go to college,
Mm-hmm.
see how if they're a hard worker from that.
Mm-hmm.
But they could also compare it to possibly the grades of the person in high school, depending on how easy that would be to get. But so even at like that's in the scenario that you went to college and the job you're going for right now requires none of that.
Mm-hmm.
It could also just be like a bonus thing that maybe the boss is looking to start something new, and like a new job title or something.
Yeah.
So you're applying for this job, but if the employer already has the vision of kind of moving it into a new direction, that might come into play. But if it's the steady job that is not planning on changing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it really could come down to character in the interview, I think.
So you think
Yeah.
going to college, it also builds character a little bit just from
I think it could build character.
because
Yeah.
I
mean,
could
Sorry. I mean, for sure. Like, my first year, I only went 1 year so far in actual like full-time college on campus, and I mean, in and of itself, it was a real experience, and I mean, I enjoyed it for sure, and I kind of hated leaving, but I just didn't feel like where I was going was the right path for me.
Yeah.
And so like, there's a lot of, but definitely for sure. I mean, just the ability to like. Connect with people, and there's so many people your age. It's a real opportunity for stuff, and I think that's also very important. Whereas if you don't go to college, you're kind of stuck within a work sphere or something. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, I think one thing that does help is that even if it's you get a job and it's completely unrelated to your field, you're still required in almost every school, I think if not every, to take general education classes. So you are furthering your education and not just in what you're studying. So I think I know I'm kind of the one that proposed the question, but I just wanted to see your guys' thoughts. But I think going to college, it'll give you a little more just overall knowledge, and like I said, it's an extended education, so it might make you a little more qualified overall than someone else. And I think with the like you said about applying for a job, a person with a degree but not a relative degree versus someone who just has a high school diploma, I think as an employer, if you see someone who went to college and in society it's burned into our brains that college is a good thing,
Yeah.
then already they have more brownie points than the person who didn't go to college. So, yeah.
Yep.
Either you guys have anything else to say?
I think there could be. I mean, I think that it kind of goes back to connections. I think if you have connections outside of college to begin with, I think you can really get somewhere.
Yeah.
I think you can create connections just naturally in your everyday life, depending on where you're at, and you know what I'm saying. Like if you're around things that interest you, you're going to have a better chance. Like if you're going to things like say you're like really into music, you go to music things, you're gonna see more people that like music. You're gonna make more music connections.
Mhm.
So even if you don't go to college, and you find the right people, and you have good character. The character is not something you play. You don't act that out. If you were pursuing the good character beforehand, go into this, build a connection, and they know you have that good character, you might be able to get somewhere without a college degree very easily. And another thing I noticed is, a lot of these famous people for making revolutionary products. A lot of them didn't go to college. Some even dropped out of high school. But I think that what it comes down to is I have a leadership class and we're looking into like a whole bunch of stuff like this, and it's really it's your push. It's your push to do what you want to do. It's your push to create something new.
Mm-hmm.
It's to have a vision and to really play it out. And a lot of us, I think, I mean, I even me sometimes. I'm not saying that I'm always out going and doing something.
Yeah.
But it's the people that got somewhere, the people you recognize today, and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those people didn't sit back and, oh, I'm never gonna be like that. They didn't say that.
Yeah.
What they did, they kept pushing. They kept going towards their vision. They worked for it nonstop. It was the hard work that actually got them there. It was their vision of a brighter future. They wanted innovation. They wanted something that would excite people, and ultimately it was their passion, so it was exciting them as well. So
yeah.
you're working towards something you want, which in companies, if you look at the like all the people that are working in it, if the majority of the people, okay, if you get all of them, but if a majority of the people are working towards the company and the company's goal is their goal, their passion lines up perfectly, that company is going up.
Yeah.
That company is going somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I think something that you said that's kind of key there was like if they're passionate about it, and I think passion tends to be the real thing, and I think it tends to be one of the biggest driving factors in where you go in life, more so than whether you went to college or whether you didn't. And I think that passion is definitely something that I think a lot more people need to focus on, finding what their passion is, because people just, I think, tend to get in a rut where you're going through high school, you do what everybody else does, you're pushing through, then you get in the rut, you're going to college, you do what everybody else does. Sorry,
well,
poor grammar. But yeah.
And I think that rut also goes outside of schooling, because everyone sits back and everyone's like, oh, someone else, like you think, oh, what's the new electronic gonna be? And you're just kind of, you don't think I'm gonna make that. You think someone's gonna. You think you put it on someone else's tray.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean that in itself, kind of. I've been thinking about a kind of gloom subject, but I've been kind of thinking about a lot recently and in the past year or so about how like society has changed and why everything kind of seems gloomy right now. Everything seems bad and sad and terrible. There's school shootings and there's terrorist attacks and junk, and I'm like, and it seems like society hasn't grown or advanced in any way, and you're kind of thinking like, I mean I do, I think like, why have we gotten to this point? And I just think people aren't as innovative right now. I don't think people are pushing, aren't as passionate, and I think more people just need to find their passion and push towards it and strive towards it and need to have big dreams. I think it's kind of been discouraged to like dream big today. It's kind of been like, oh, just go to college, just do this, just do that. This is how you have to do things to be okay in life. But like, nobody, it seems like nobody these days tends to, at least as much as they used to, tends to strive to be great.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like the have big dreams, but don't take
Stay
any
grounded.
chances. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and a lot of the time, though, you do have to take those big chances.
Definitely,
That's how a lot of these people made it really, really big, is they took daring chances, and some of them fell flat on their face, but they got back up and kept trying.
Yeah.
And I think that comes back to the passion thing. Like, it's all about passion. I think that's really important.
I actually heard something really cool about, like, the Wright brothers, and you know what they did. With the airplane. Yeah.
Yeah, they invented right, and then someone else invented left, I guess.
No, so like they invented the plane and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I actually heard, I saw a video and one of my professors was talking about it. But there was actually the government and like a whole bunch of things were funding this one guy.
Yeah.
And this guy he wasn't the Wright brothers, by the way. This guy, he was
left brother.
super qualified for, helping make the airplane. They gave him all this money. He used that money to get some of the smartest brains around.
Yeah.
And the Wright brothers invented it before him, off of money they had from their bicycle
for
shop.
sure. Like,
and then the interesting thing is you see where the passion comes in. The guy that's being paid all that money, once the Wright brothers invented it, he dropped it.
Yeah.
He completely didn't
Well, I think you hit an
just
interesting topic. We're kind of getting a little off topic, down to like a rabbit trail or whatever, but I don't care. It's interesting. Something you said there was like funding things doesn't always mean like it will come up with something, and that's what I kind of don't like about the idea of like a lot of government fund. I know I hate to get political, but I know a lot of government funded things. They're like, oh well, let's fund more things through the government to get diseases cured, and I'm like, that's good and all. I see that people care, but at the same time, it's like it takes someone with passion to kind of actually come up with that.
Some of the best inventions and some of the greatest ideas in human history came from private, people using their own money and their own funds, because you're investing your entire life. If someone else is giving you money, then you're thinking, oh well, I'm just wasting their money.
Yeah.
But if it's your own, you're gonna pour your blood, sweat, and tears into it, because that's all you have, and you don't want to waste that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the big thing to remember out of all of this is college worth it. If you know what you want to do, and figure out what you want to do with your life first. If that requires a college education, go there. If it requires a trade school, do that. If you can just go right out of high school and find it, do that. Pursue what you want to do. Money it's a very powerful thing in our society, but it's not what should drive you. You should do what you want to do, and if it pays well, that's great too.
Yep. And with that, we'll say goodbye to our guest, our first ever guest. Seth, how does it feel?
It feels such an honor.
Anything you'd like to say? You can, I don't know, if you want people to tweet you about this or whatever. Or whatever.
Yeah, there's just one thing.
Don't whisper too much.
Ken Bone for President 2016.
Ken Bone for President. And we will leave him with that if I can find my mouse. Okay. Well, that was our first topic. Thank you, Seth, again for coming in, and you can be on your merry way. Do you want to grab the microphone and try to see if we can get it in front here?
Grab the mic.
Sorry, we're going to try to get our microphone kind of positioned back out here a little more so you can hear us nice and clear. All right. On to our next thing. Now, this is the thing me and Jungle here have been waiting all day for this segment, because it is going to be very interesting. And this is Bad Poetry with Wade and Jungle.
Just a disclaimer, that is an and sign in there.
It is. It's not an at sign. It looks very
what's it
similar.
called?
An ampersand?
Ampersand. That is an ampersand. It looks like an at symbol. I was concerned, but we're good.
But it is what it is, and that is and. All right. So what we're going to do here, this is going to be something interesting. We might bring this up every so often. I don't think we should probably do it every week. It'll get dull. We have planned some other skits and junk games, in a sense, that, if you want to call it that we're going to do throughout our show here. So this is going to be one of them for now. So what we did is Justin Kiefer here, he wrote a poem for me to read, and I wrote a poem for him to read. Now, the point of this was the fact that it is bad poetry.
Yeah, it's I wrote it with the intention of making him look kind of goofy, but also just having something entertaining.
Yeah.
But the little twist that we're going to throw on here is he's going to do his best me impersonation, and I'm going to do my best him impersonation.
And this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So
I enjoy impersonations. I don't know how...
I'm going to have to enjoy it. So who do you think should go first? Do you want to read mine? Or do you want to save yours for the last for me?
I'll read yours first.
All right.
Since you...
I made mine it's very weird. So let's go in with that.
Okay. Now I have to get my my Wade impression going here. So this is what's the idea of, or what's the name of this poem?
The name of this poem is A Graceful Stroll.
A Graceful Stroll by Wade Johns. Smell the air with the water droplets tickling your nostril hairs. Is it fresh as poo from bears? that sits on the crisp leaves of the forest and begins to explore the air like a newborn tourist. Don't stub your toe in this forest in the stump below, or it may swell like a balloon before it pops. Ew, a popping toe.
Just push through it.
And ache with great pain, you'll want to flop. Down on the ground and cry, and there you will shrivel up over backwards and die. Antelope ears, I am one with the dirt.
All right. Well, there was All right. Oh gosh, I wanted to cancel. Oh no, I messed it. Poem for Wade.
Yep. There you go.
All right.
This poem is not named. You can come
the
up with a name
unnamed
if you
poem.
want
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna. How does Jungle
to.
here?
How do I
talk?
talk? Here's the sample.
How do I talk? Okay, I think you kind of talk like this. Hey, here's the sample. Okay, I kind of got it. It's not like really like my voice. It's something. Okay, you ready? Oh ha ha ha. In the middle of the night, I wake with a fright to the sad truth that my butt crack has bite. What the heck? It smells like the unforeseen future that I await because it's traveling across all 50 states. Oh gosh. America will be jealous of this stew that I'm brewing because I could make a continent with the poo that's accruing. Oh gosh, I have an anus. This I cannot deny. Because if I had chicken wings, I could fly. So with that being said, my farewell I announce. My fart will be lethal, and death it will pronounce. I also like Nickelback. Oh, for the record, I do not like Nickelback.
He said it. You heard
No,
it here.
no,
We can
it was part of the thing.
We're like Nickelback.
Oh gosh, no.
So if you want, you can vote a winner of bad poetry.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Tell
or
us whose poem was the best, or who read it the best, or whatever. Just
Either way, we're both losers.
leave that down in the comment section down there, because why not? Or tweet us, you guys know the tweets. Okay, and that was Bad Poetry with Wade and Jungle. All right. So, we're just about done. We're just about to wrap up the show for today. Today's episode's a little bit shorter, I believe.
Like a couple minutes. But
A couple minutes. We were trying to keep it a little shorter, but we got into some really interesting discussion, which is good.
it was great.
Grand! It was grand. So, okay, next week's topic, we're going to leave you like we did the last episode, where we are going to kind of tell you what we have planned, and we want your opinions. So please drop them in the comments if you feel like you want to do that, which we encourage you to do.
Oh yeah, do that.
Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about something really interesting, which is meme culture. We're going to be talking about how kind of like memes have worked their way into society, what they kind of do for us today, a whole bunch of different... We're just basically going to be talking about memes the whole time.
Yeah, I think that would have been bad this week. We
No.
go off of Ken Bone.
Oh, especially
But-
with Ken Bone.
yeah.
But we had a guest, and we figured we'd go with this.
Oh yeah, and this I like you could probably see this was a very interesting topic for us to discuss,
Oh, yeah.
and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, so meme, like, I think after all is said and done, people are gonna look back at our generation and call us the meme generation. So I think this is a very
I think that's fair to say.
very appropriate
kind of
topic. I'm
initiated
calling
it.
it right now. We'll be the meme
The
generation.
meme generation. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Leave a big thumbs up if you loved this video, which you
Gracias.
did. Let's be honest, because we feed off of the likes of these people and stuff. Oh, we actually got a feedback for
Real
one of the
quick.
poems, so we'll throw this in real quick.
So
wadEwinz, I wrote the best bad poem for sure, but Chief Jungle wrote the more accurate with the impersonation. All right, well, there's our first response. Thank you, Mama Keith, for that. Like we were saying before, leave a big thumbs up if you love this video. Leave a thumbs down if you hated it, but you won't do that. And leave comments. Please leave comments.
Por favor.
We'd love to interact with you guys. So leave comments, tweet us, do whatever. All right.
Anything.
And with that, we'll leave you with the intro that we brought you in with.
us comments or something.
Bye! It's been a great time. Bye. I'm laughing. Well.